Okay, here we go. You ready?
I am so ready. I'm so excited to welcome everybody back for our final skills training video. And I hope you guys have had as much fun and learned as much as we did. This series is just a reminder that we are lifelong learners. And even at the levels that we're at in this business, we learn from you, we learn from each other. And I am so proud of you for being in this program and learning with each other. So we've got some great things to teach you today. If you don't have paper and pencil yet, grab it because here we go.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to jump right in today about with host coaching. And I think you're going to find today is a lot about building relationships because relationships are really what anchor the people to us in this business. So when you speak about host coaching, it's really a partnership. And I want you to remember that host coaching is not something we do to our hosts, it's something that we do for our hosts. This is probably their one party this year, or maybe in these 6 months. So, although you might be and should be running 4 or more parties at a time, your host is only having one party. So, it's his or her chance to really get the most free products that they can, the best discounts that they can. So, everything that you're doing to help your host in this partnership is something that you're doing for him or her. And just remember that you're serving her or him when you are host coaching. And you really want to make sure that you are building a personal relationship with your host. We do suggest that when you are doing 4 or more parties at a time that you have your host together in one host coaching message so that you can save time. There's also, I know some people do some fun competitions between their hosts, and having them all in that chat is really helpful. And I've also seen where hosts will ask a question and another host will answer them in the chat. So there's a lot of benefits to having that chat. But that can't be the only way you coach your host. It's really important for you to have that one-on-one relationship with them. And I like to do that in the 3 or 4 days leading up to the party. And then once the party starts, that's when I start that group message. And another great tip to really build that relationship with your host is by using a feature, the voice clips through Facebook Messenger. Then when you're talking to your host, they can hear your voice, they can hear your excitement. And let's face it, it takes a little bit more time to send a voice clip than it does to copy and paste something. So that time, your host will see that you really care about them, that they aren't just a number in this group of people. And then when I'm talking to my host, whether it's through text or through the voice clip, I always try to weave something personal in there. Like if they told me that they're getting ready to go on vacation or they just came back from vacation, we talk about that, or I might reference that. I might be asking them something that they have on their wish list. Just make sure that you are making some sort of personal one-on-one connection with each of them. Be authentic, be conversational, certainly copy and paste, but have a lot of individuality in those messages as well.
As you've heard about this need and really important part of building a relationship with your host, it's going to affect the success of the party, but it's also going to success how many of them decide to join your team. Your host is your #1 recruit lead. And your goal is to make sure that you've made this connection where they're like, well, we're already friends. Why wouldn't I want to work with this person? So that relationship building is never, ever a waste of time. So you are going to want to build this relationship and offer the business to your host, not one time, not two, 5 times. And 5 times is because we need to hear it more than once. When you ask one time, it's said that you're being polite. When you ask more than one time, you're being sincere. And we're going to show you that you're seeing on the screen right now 5 different times that you can ask your host to join that are very natural. And these are just words to kind of get you started. But as Stacy said, you're going to personalize things whenever you can. But these are the things that you're going to set aside as your goal. And remember, when you're asking 5 times, it's an ask, not an argue. We don't argue with our host. We just ask. So the first time you might ask would be right here when it says when they book their party. And it could sound something like this. I'm so excited to work with you. I have an idea. we could use your party to earn a discount of up to $50 on one of our new consultant starter kits. This may be the farthest thing from your mind, but I wonder if I could show you how you could do this business all online in just a couple of hours a week. Would you be interested in learning more?
Right. And this is a really important step. As soon as you book that party, do this first ask. Now, sometimes your party might be booked a week or two later, and it might feel a little weird to ask them again when you know you just asked them 2 weeks ago. And I'll speak to that in just a second. But a lot of times your parties are going to be booked a month later, sometimes 2 months later. And a lot can happen in someone's life in 1 month, in 2 months, and really a lot can happen in 2 weeks. So if you asked on that first time, and you should have, a way to transition to that is just recognize the fact that they said no before, but you just want to see if anything changed. So when you're confirming that party 2 weeks later, a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, it doesn't matter. You can say again, hey, I know that last time I asked you, you weren't interested, but I just want to ask you again to see if anything has changed. Because you're hosting, you can actually get one of our starter kits at a discount, and we could use this as a launch party for you. Again, I can show you how to do it all online. Has anything changed, or would you be interested? And we know that that not everyone does all of the things all of the time. So if you missed that first ask, you can definitely use the second ask just the way that it's written.
It's perfect, perfect. Now, you want to find an opportunity to compliment your host on doing a great job. And one of the best things we want our host to do for the success of the party is have 30 or more guests join. So here's a very natural, easy way to tie in coaching with a compliment and an ask. Oh my gosh, look how many of your friends have joined your party already. They love Pampered Chef and they love you. Are you sure you don't want to give this business a try?
Yeah, I just sent this to someone yesterday, and she had told me no twice already, and she came back with, I am so tempted. And then she gave me a little bit more details, and I'm like, no worries, it's okay. If anything changes, just let me know. So it's really all in the presentation. And here you can see that you're recognizing the fact that they said no, because we're saying, are you sure? So then it's kind of the same thing in the fourth time. When those sales reach $200, of course, they're getting their host special. Of course, they're getting their half price item, but this is when they get that $25 kit credit. And here you're just saying, it's my job to let you know about all of your host rewards. So it says, part of my job is to make sure you know about all of your host rewards. Your party qualified with $200 in sales, and you can insert a yay, wahoo, great job in there as well. And that means you earned a $25 credit on our starter kit. And here, what's interesting is we're not asking them about the business. We're just asking to see if they have seen what comes in the kit. So this is another way to get that conversation going. It counts as an ask, but it's a different kind of ask.
I love that. That is so fun. And those consultant kits are so enticing and so intriguing for people. That's a really smart move. So your fifth ask is when you're closing the party. So of course you're expressing gratitude for them being a part of your business, and you're saying, thank you for hosting with me. Before I submit your order, I wanted to offer you the opportunity to try us out one more time. I would love to give you all the parties your friends booked to help you get started. Would you want to try it for 30 days and just see what comes of it? This is a really nice casual ask, but it's perfect.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why this ask is so powerful is because a lot of people really are thinking about it and they want to try it. And the number one thing that holds people back is that fear of not being able to book parties. So when you have been planting these seeds with your host all along the way, you've been planting seeds in the party, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. Then you present them with the opportunity of, here are 2-3 friends that have already committed to having parties. It eliminates that fear. And this is often when you see the yes come through, right?
Oh my gosh.
But if you don't do the groundwork before, It doesn't work. You can't put a roof on a house without first putting down the foundation and the walls to support the roof. So that final ask is the roof.
Mhm.
All right, so let's dive into a little bit more about building relationships with customers. So you will hear it said often in our industry that people will buy Pampered Chef in spite of you. Like, let's face it, a lot of times all you have to say is, I'm a Pampered Chef consultant, and they're like, oh, I love Pampered Chef. And you don't even have to do a great party to get orders. And that's really obvious. On the first day you set up a party and you post the link and some orders start coming in, you didn't do anything. All you did was post the link. So that just proves that people will buy Pampered Chef in spite of you. They will, however, book parties and join your team because of you. You are the differentiating factor that brings people into the Pampered Chef. So that relationship building is so important. People like to work with people that they know. So we're going to talk to you in a minute about how you can help people get to know you in your parties. People like to work with people that they like. So how can you have some personality and show some fun in your parties, even through a post? And people want to work with people that they trust. And we talked to you earlier about doing that thank you text and how important that is when people order. That is building trust and building a relationship with your customers. So I'm gonna toss it back to you now. How can we help people get to know you, right?
Absolutely. I think that it's really important that we get away from this idea of I'm going to do a recruiting post and I'm looking in marketing imagery or I'm looking in one of the big Pampered Chef groups for a great recruiting post. Recruiting posts are fine, but what we really need to think about is people post. What are the posts that are going to make people connect with us? Because you've already heard that's how they will join. So I just want a little shift because I've had a shift in my thinking and I want to have a shift in your thinking that you're going for people posts, not just generic quote recruiting posts. So we're going to show you some super fun samples of things that you can do.
Yeah. So one of the best ways to build a relationship with your hosts and your customers, help them to know you, help them to get to like you, help them to trust you, is by telling your story. And you don't have to tell that story all in one post. It can be scattered throughout the party, and that we're going to show you some images. But here are some key things that your story should include. Your story, your story should include real life here, guys, in your training. Your story should include what was your life like prior to Pampered Chef. So I'm going to show you an image. Whoops, that's not even. Oh, here it is. Whoop, did I screen share?
Not yet.
I don't think I did. All right, let me try this again. All right, I may not even, can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So here's a post that comes out early in my party that talks about the fun that we're have, but I'm talking about my life. We have 5 children ranging in age from 26 to 7. Our oldest 2 were married last year. Just a little bit about my life. So my question to you is, how are you telling people about your life? People will connect with you if you have kids and they have kids. They will connect with you. If you talk about your kids got married last year, maybe they're going through a wedding. It's that kind of scenario that you're trying to connect. Not everyone will relate to this, but there are other things that people will connect with you on. So what is your life like? What is it like now? What was it like prior to Pampered Chef? The second thing is, what were you looking for from the business? I don't know that I have that in this post. Oh, yes, it is. Right. So here's the reason that I joined Pampered Chef. I started Pampered Chef in 2005 to earn some extra income to pay off credit card debt. I stayed because I love having the flexible schedule and helping others. So you helping others supplement their income. So talk about your reason for joining. A lot of people join for the extra money, but some people join for the relationships. Some people join for the free products. There is no right or wrong answer here. Again, you're trying to connect with someone on a certain kind of level here. So talk about why you decided to join. I don't have it in this post. In another post, I talk about why I was afraid to do it. That is really important as well. What was something that made you stop and pause and think, should I do this? For me, it was that I wasn't a great cook. So I have a post about how prior to Pampered Chef, I was the hamburger helper queen. So include your fear and then how you overcame that. And then, of course, show why you stayed in the party. Why you stayed in the business in the party. And then, Julie, go ahead and talk about these. I'm going to let my dog out.
Yes, yes. So I wanted to make some graphics that had a central theme that connected what could extra money do for you. And I really just took a few minutes to reflect on what do I spend my extra money on that maybe other people are not having in their life because they don't have a quote side gig or they don't have fun money to spend. And so I maybe take for granted that I can get my hair done. I take for granted that I can pay a trainer, that I can go shopping. So this is just the way that I thought. So each day is a different fun graphic like this that's just light and is sprinkling.
And you can look at these pictures and learn a lot about Julie's personality. If she has people who just love to have a lot of fun in her parties, they're going to connect with her. People who love to work out are going to connect with her. The people who want to get their hair done, get massages, go shopping, whatever. She's making connections with people and showing her personality. Even if they don't like to do all of those things, they're getting a real picture for who Julie is. And they're going to want to work with her because she's showing that she's a fun person. And here's one last example. Show the perks. It doesn't have to be a trip. It can be an incentive that you earned. Like if you earned a scraper, if you've earned a bag, if you've earned anything, take pictures of yourself with some of the perks that you are experiencing because you're a Pampered Chef consultant. So it's showing your personality. It's showing the perks of the business, but more than anything, it's helping you to build that relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you are now armed and dangerous. You are going to be ready to recruit more hosts, more guests at your parties as you make connections with people. And you're going to become an even bigger and better people person, even in the virtual world. I think people think they can't, and you've just seen some great tips that you're going to be able to apply. And so maybe you're thinking like, okay, so I get these new consultants. Now what do I do? Do I really know enough to support my new consultants? And we're going to tell you, yes, you do. Here's the story. Here's the real truth of the matter. You are going to be the initiator of the conversation with your consultants, just like you are with your host. So you don't wait for your host to ask you questions. You reach out to them and give them tips. That's the same thing you're going to do with your consultants. Don't worry about, do I have all the answers? You don't need to know all the answers that your consultants might have, but you need to know where the resources are. So your director has the information in the team page, whether it's in a form of units or it's in the files section, or maybe you need to just have a moment with your director and ask them, where are the resources that I need to know so I can direct people? This is not about you knowing it. Your director already did the work. Maybe you just need to know where that is. So be sure that you don't hold back with the fear of, I don't know enough. Right. You do. Now, one thing I want to make sure that's really brought home to you is the importance of helping your new consultants start strong with the best business practices. You know from being in this program how many parties that you're doing per week. Yes. So why would you start a new consultant with any other plan? Don't think, and I've heard consultants say, I don't want to overwhelm them. I don't want to stress them out. The truth is, when you start from the beginning with the 4 parties, that's what they're used to. That's what they know to do. We are teaching them systems. We know that you can do it systematically. So it's not that hard to do. And the 4 parties are important. They're also going to have parties that may flip, that may flop, and then a few that fly. If you only set them up with 1 or 2 because you don't want to stress them out, and that's a flop party, you've now had someone get off to a really disappointing start. And so it's in their best interest, it's in your best interest to share the same best practices you know for their business too. Do not decide for people what is too much for them. You need to tell them the best business practices. And people rarely do more than what we expect. People rarely say, well, she told me to do 4, I should probably do 10. I mean, that's a rare, rare fun find. The truth is, if you set the bar too low, they may even drop below that. So when you set the bar at 4 or more, you know that they're probably going to max out at 4, and they may even drop to 3 or 2. So that same formula goes, if you told them to do 2, they could drop to 1. And we just know that's not the strong start that you want your consultant to get off to. So you're also going to be able to teach them for every 4 parties they do, they're going to be adding their own team member. And remember, that's going to help your team. It's going to help them be more connected. They're going to have more fun doing this business with people. So that formula rings through. 4 parties, there's going to be a recruit in there. And so that's why we're going to just keep throwing out there, the 4 needs to be there.
Yeah. So oh, sorry.
No, please go.
You're still going through the list, but I feel like I just want to tell everybody right now, more than anything, we want you to know that you know how to do this. You know how to book parties because you're doing a party. So you know to tell them to do the exact same things that you did to book your parties. You know how to host coach because you're coaching your current hosts. You know how to do checkout chats. Like everything that you're doing, all you have to do is tell them exactly what you did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the fun part about why we are lifelong learners, and you're going to be a lifelong learner because you keep getting to share that with your team members. You know that there's going to be party templates you can share. So again, go all in. Do not hold back and think, I need to know more. No, you don't. You're ready right now. You have everything that you need to know, and you can just direct them to other resources as well. Dash is an amazing resource for you to take some training if you want, but also to direct your new consultants to. That was created with that mindset to save you the time and not have holes in someone's training. So they absolutely want to take advantage of Dash, your team page, and of course your directors and your team leaders resources as well.
All right, so congratulations. You made it to the end of Skills Training 3, and we have a secret phrase for you. We really want to see you on our last group call. So the secret phrase that you need to message us is, I am a director. Have an awesome day. We'll see you soon.